It is Saturday, February 24th, and the Splash Zone is back in your life. I am Matt Modai with my three favorite NBA player props for today's NBA betting slate. It's a pretty gross slate. Admittedly, there are only 3 games, but I did find 3 plays that I really liked that we can get into. But before we can get into those, we got to do a recap from yesterday, which unfortunately was not one of our days. Thursday was one of the best days I've ever had with my NBA player prop betting. Yesterday was not. I gave out 4 picks yesterday. I only got one of those 4 to cash. 2 of them weren't even close. Trae Young assists and Tyus Jones assists. Not even close. The Vince Williams over 23.5 points, rebounds, assists was a terrible beat. In the first half, he had 19. He had 22 with about 10 minutes left in the third quarter. Could not get us one more bucket the entire second half. Would have cashed that over, would have at least broken even on the day. But that's not how things went. So we ended yesterday 1-3, down 2.2 units. Thursday, we were 4-1, up about 5 units. So it only makes sense to have a little bit of a down day yesterday, but still wasn't fun. Hopefully we can turn things around today. On the entire season, obviously, we're still having an amazing amount of success. We are up 46.80 units on the entire season with an ROI of 27.13%. Days like yesterday are never fun, but it is always important to take a step back and see 27% ROI is incredible. Now, I'm not just going to rest on those laurels. Hopefully we can, again, have a bounce back day today. But again, it is important to take a step back and see that. If you are new to my channel, I would appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. So when we go on another heater, you're along for the ride. And then for this specific video, if you could comment, I would love that as well. I love reading through all the comments. I try to reply to as many as I can. Whether you like these picks, whether you hate them, whether you have your own plays that you like, anything you can put in the comments, I would appreciate. That's all we got for that. So let's get into today's picks. First up, Magic versus Pistons game. I'm taking Franz Wagner over 21.5 points. This is at -105 odds at BetMGM. So a couple weeks ago, the Magic played the Pistons, and I was heavily debating taking Franz Wagner's points. I did not, and he blew up for 38 points. So I'm going with him today, hoping he can right the wrongs from the last time I decided not to go with him, and hopefully he doesn't screw us tonight. It's an incredible matchup for Franz to score a bunch of points against the Pistons. The Pistons are literally giving up the most points per game to someone of Franz Wagner's shooting profile, and the second most points per game to someone of his scoring profile and his playmaking style as well. All those stats are per Courtside Pal, which not only looks at a player's position, but actually looks at how they score, right? Steph Curry is a point guard. Colin Sexton is a point guard. They're completely different in how they score. So I like the fact that Courtside Pal will categorize them based on how they score, not just their position. It's really important to dig even deeper. So looking at Franz, it's been a cold couple games for him. To me, that's the perfect opportunity to buy in on him having a good game today. So he's missed this in 3 straight games. But you got to look at the matchups, right? In the 3 games that he missed, 3 pretty tough defenses. The Thunder, the Knicks, and the Cavs were the 3 teams that he went under against in his most recent 3 games. Prior to this 3-game stretch, he had gone over in 3 of 4 games. And the 3 games he cashed were against pretty easy matchups. He had 38 points against the Pistons, 34 against the Spurs, and 36 against the Bulls. That was in a 4-game stretch. So yeah, it's only natural that if he scores 30-plus points in 3 of 4 games, that he was going to have a colder streak after that, especially when you consider how wide the gap was between the defenses he was playing when he was playing well versus the defenses of the last 3 games. So now he gets an easy matchup again against the Pistons on the year. He's cashed this in both of the games he's played against the Pistons with 27 and 38 points in the 2 games against the Pistons. I'm also going to go ahead and ladder Franz Wagner as well. So my official play is over 21.5, and then I'm going to take him to score 25 or more points. This is at +165 odds at DraftKings. I'm putting a half unit on that. And I'm putting a quarter unit on him to get to 30-plus points as well. That's +450 odds at DraftKings. If you're new to my channel, basically what I do is I give out my official play, and I only track my official plays as well. But if I am laddering someone up, I like to tell people so they can tell me if they won. And hopefully people in the comments, the ladders have been profitable, right? I track every ladder play on the Pickett app, and it has been profitable. So it's something that I do recommend tailing. If I track them officially, we would be up even more units, but I think that's kind of cheap to triple count a play like this. If I should start tracking ladder plays, go ahead and let me know. I'm happy to do whatever the people want. But for our first play, Franz Wagner over 21.5 points. Next up, Celtics versus Knicks game, I'm taking Kristaps Porzingis, 20 plus points. This is also at minus 105 odds at BetMGM. Promise it's not a typo. Both plays are minus 105 odds at BetMGM. So this is mostly a play. Kristaps Porzingis just killed the Knicks, both from a point perspective and from a three-point perspective as well. So my official play is the 20 plus points. I'm also going to put a half unit on Kristaps to make 3 or more three-pointers. That's at a plus 195 odds at FanDuel, and I'm putting a half unit on that bad boy. So official play, 20 plus points. Ladder play, 3 plus made three-pointers. Here are KP's last 6 games against the Knicks. 21 points, 22, 23, 30, 21, and 21. So he's legitimately cashed 20 plus points in all 6 of his last 6 games against the Knicks, the team that drafted him. That dates back the previous 2 seasons. And in that same stretch, that same 6-game span, here are his made three-pointers as well. 4, 4, 5, 5, 3, 3, 3. So not only has he cashed the 20 plus points, but he's also cashed the latter 3-point play, 3 plus points, all 6 times as well. So he's had a very, very successful time against the Knicks recently. Outside of his games against the Knicks, if you're just looking at this year against the Celtics, he's been pretty good. He's having a great year for the Celtics. He had a really nice stretch right before the All-Star break. He had cashed 20 or more points in 4 straight games. And he actually had cashed 25 plus points in all 4 games, all 4 of those games as well. And then he missed it in his most recent 2. He missed it in the first game back from the All-Star break, and he missed it in the game right before that as well. In terms of the matchup, admittedly, this is a better matchup for his 3-point props than anything. The Knicks are giving up the 4th most made 3-pointers to centers in the entire NBA, and props.cash lists the Knicks as the 2nd best matchup for center 3-point props specifically. I like taking the points as our official play that we will officially track, but I do like the 3-point play as well, so that's why I'm going to ladder that to have action on both. For those of you that just took the ladder play because the odds are way juicier, I wouldn't blame you. I like the points, and I like the 3-pointers. I like them both. I just had to have one to officially track, and I ended up going with the points. Let's hope Kristaps has another good game, crushes the Knicks like he always does. That's our second play. Next up, third and final pick of the video. Another play in the Celtics versus Knicks, just the other side of the ball. I'm taking Jalen Brunson, 3 plus made 3-pointers. This is best offered at plus 160 odds at Bet365. This is something that I've been saying a lot most of the year. The Celtics defense is really, really good. One area in which they give up a decent amount of points relative to the rest of the NBA is points to point guards, and specifically point guards who like to pull up both from deep and just on the pick and roll in general. Now, Jalen Brunson earlier in his career was not known as a good shooter. He's turned himself into a very good shooter who's very adept in the pick and roll. Now, obviously, we're just taking him to make 3 or more 3-pointers. I think his points are also a good play as well. The Celtics are literally giving up the most above the break 3-point attempts in the entire NBA, and they're giving up the 2nd most made 3-pointers from above the break as well. If you don't know what that means, above the break basically just means any 3-pointer that's not on the corner, it's above the break, and it's not in the back court, which is essentially just a half-court heave. That's all above the break means. Most above the break shots are derived from pick and rolls, whereas most shots at the corner are from catch and shoot. So the Celtics, that's kind of where I got the pull up from the pick and roll. And the Celtics are giving up the 6th most points per game specifically to pick and roll ball handlers in the NBA. So they're giving up the most above the break 3-point attempts, the 2nd most above the break made 3-pointers, and the 6th most points per game to pick and roll ball handlers. So I know it's pretty stat specific, just kind of want to explain everything. Now looking at Jalen Brunson, he runs the 2nd most pick and rolls in the entire NBA just in terms of possessions of pick and rolls per game. He's only behind Trae Young, and he averages the 3rd most points per game as the main pick and roll ball handler as well. So he runs the 2nd most, he scores the 3rd most. In terms of pull-up shooting, he averages the 4th most points from pull-ups in the NBA, and he shoots over 38% on pull-up attempts from 3-pointer specifically. And the last point I'll make, as I know this is very stat specific, is Jalen Brunson attempts roughly 6 3-pointers per game above the break, and he makes 40% of them. So a lot of reasons why to buy in on Jalen Brunson and his 3-point props specifically. And if you're curious why all these stats are the way they are, it's because of the way the Celtics play defense. They play drop coverage on the pick and roll. Now, Kristaps is he's able to move on defense, as is Al Horford. So they don't drop as deep as the Sixers do with Embiid, as the Bucks do with Brook Lopez. They run the pick and roll, the drop coverage a little bit higher than normal. That's why they give up a lot of 3-point attempts specifically because of how high they play the pick and roll. So a lot of reasons, again, to be in on Jalen Brunson and his 3-point props in this one. Jalen Brunson, he's played the Celtics 3 times this year. He's made 3 or more 3-pointers in 2 of those 3 games. Overall, 6 of the last 7 point guards against the Celtics have cashed their 3-point prop over. And I promise this is the last point I'll make, props.cash lists the Celtics as the 4th best matchup in the NBA when it comes to 3-point props for point guards. Now, I like looking at all this different stuff because props.cash, I like the fact that not only do they take into account how many a player actually makes from the position, but they also take into account relative to their 3-point over under as well. So like Steph Curry, his 3-point made over under is like 6.5. If he made 6, that would be a lot for literally any other player in the NBA, but that would still be going under his 3-point prop. So that's kind of why I like to look at props.cash because again, they make it relative to what the player's over under is, excuse me. But that's how we got 3 plays for today's NBA betting slate for you guys to lock in. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And the last thing I'll say, I mention this at the end of every video, is if you like the picks that I give out, but you don't always have time to watch the YouTube video or you don't always care enough to watch the YouTube video, I do have a dub club. It's only $5 a month. And all I do is the plays that I give out for free on YouTube, I give them out on dub club as well. If you use the dub club, you will get them texted to you immediately. So as soon as I decide what the plays are, I send them out on dub club. Then I go through all the process of recording the YouTube video. So you get them about an hour early on dub club. Or if you don't want to pay $5 a month, you can just get them for free on YouTube. It's the same exact picks, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on dub club. The logic is if you use the dub club, you can get it before the odds change. You don't have to watch the video, all that stuff. But regardless, however you want it, it's totally fine with me. And that's all we got. Appreciate everybody for watching and have a good one.